A boy was walking through a cemetery when he unexpectedly found a dirty stray dog. Its fur was tangled into thick clumps. It looked like wool that had not been trimmed for a long time. Even its eyes had completely disappeared beneath the fur. Unable to see the road, it could only spin helplessly in place. Following its instincts, it walked up to the boy. It seemed to be asking him for something to eat. But when the boy saw how unbelievably filthy the stray dog was, he immediately lost interest in it, let alone giving it any food. However, the boy met the dog again the next day. After watching it for a while, he realized that the stray dog had been wandering near the cemetery. Although its eyes were completely covered by fur, it seemed very familiar with everything around it. It was also extremely friendly toward people. Even complete strangers could easily reach out and pet it. Driven by intense curiosity, the boy followed it for 3 hours. He noticed that the dog spent most of its time walking. No one knew what it was searching for. Sometimes when it caught a familiar scent, the dog would stop and carefully investigate. But every attempt seemed to end in another disappointment. Without an owner to protect it, the stray dogs nearby often bullied it. But the dog still refused to leave the cemetery. Instead, it continued searching around the area. A woman who knew the story explained the dog's heartbreaking past. 2.5 years earlier, an elderly man had found a tiny puppy by the roadside. The man and the dog depended on each other and formed a deep bond. Later, the elderly man died from an illness and was buried in this cemetery. Desperate to find its owner, the loyal dog began a long and lonely search. Because no one had cared for it for such a long time, the dog had ended up in this frightening condition. But life on the streets had not made it forget respect and good manners. It still remained gentle and calm. I believe this had a great deal to do with how its owner had raised it. After seeing how deeply loyal the dog was, the boy felt extremely ashamed of how he had acted the day before, so he immediately bought food and drinking water nearby. But the dog seemed to have room in its heart only for its owner. It showed very little interest in the food in front of it. As the boy watched the dog grow thinner every day, he worried that it would not survive much longer, so he decided to adopt the loyal dog. Perhaps the dog had finally accepted everything. It behaved exceptionally well as they left. Fortunately, the veterinarian found that the dog was only suffering from mild malnutrition, but dealing with its fur would be a huge job. The shaving process would inevitably pull at its skin and cause pain, but the dog never cried out once during the entire process. Seeing how gentle and well-behaved the dog was, made the boy even more determined to adopt it. After 2.5 hours of non-stop effort, all of the tangled fur was finally removed. Then the veterinarian began washing the dog. After it was washed and dried, everyone realized that the dog was small and did not look like an ordinary mutt. Even the highly experienced veterinarian could not identify its breed. But none of that mattered to the boy. Whether the dog was beautiful, ugly, or worth nothing, this would still be the beginning of a happy life together. Although the boy had become its new owner, he often took the dog back to the cemetery for walks, because he knew it still could not let go of its former owner. During his vacations, the boy also took the dog on trips. He hoped even more that the dog could leave the past behind and begin again. With the boy's constant care and companionship, the dog grew a completely new coat of fur. It seemed to come back to life. Its eyes were no longer dull and empty. The dog had fully become part of its new family. Looking at the completely transformed dog, the boy understood that time could gently heal even the deepest pain.